Ladies and gentlemen, you are now listening to
Oh, you didn't know?
with Tony Reavis.
What up, everybody? If you don't know, I am Tony Reavis, and welcome to the first episode of Oh, You Didn't Know with me, Tony Reavis. Yes, I am so excited to finally be doing this. Doing a podcast is something I've always wanted to do. Back in college, at a community college back home, I did a touch of radio, and it was always so fun to me. So doing a podcast is kind of, the evolution of that. So I'm excited to get to do this. I like to tell stories. I like to talk. I like to get to know people. And that's what this podcast is all about. So a lot of people ask me, where did this idea come from? Where did this podcast come from? What is it all about? Well, I'm going to tell you. This podcast is called Oh, You Didn't Know for one reason. The goal of this podcast is every week to have an awesome guest come on, tell their story, whether they're an artist, actor, rapper, singer, athlete, anybody that might have an awesome story to tell that we can learn from. The show's about dreamers because I'm a big dreamer. And I know that there's a lot of dreamers out there, and hearing somebody's story might touch you in a certain way, which helps you live your dream. And that's the goal of this podcast. Oh, You Didn't Know is all about getting to know somebody that you should know, who I believe you should know. That's what this is all about. So every week, I plan to have an awesome guest come on and tell their story, tell you where they came from, why they do what they do, all right, where they plan to end up, what are their goals, their dreams. Maybe you people can relate to that. They'll tell you what they got going on now, help promote their albums, their TV shows, their plays, their poetry, anything. Be able to kind of touch base with a new group of people, hopefully spread awareness on what they're doing and what they're bringing to the world. That's my goal here. So every week I plan to have an awesome guest, but before I do that, I'm going to have a segment just like this, where I can kind of just riff and freestyle and talk about whatever I have on my mind that week. It could be sports. It could be entertainment. It'll be, whatever I got going on in my mind. I'm going to keep it light. I'm not going to go into politics. I'm not going to go into anything heavy. I want to make sure that this is a podcast that can lift people up. So I'm going to try to keep it, lighthearted and friendly. But this is how I'm going to start every podcast. Just do an opening segment where I can kind of talk about whatever I want to talk about. Then we'll go into the awesome guest interview. And I will end every podcast with a conversation with my mom. I love my mom to death. She's a crazy person, and the world needs to hear her. They need to hear her stories. They need to hear her advice. I have amazing conversations on the phone with my mom all the time. She's like my best friend. I call her almost every day, and I want to share some of those conversations with you. I think it'll be a good time. You guys will, you'll love her. But yeah, guys, I'm excited. I'm excited to finally be doing this. I'm a very creative person, and I like to try different things. I like to throw different darts at the wall and see what sticks, There's a lot of projects, a lot of things that I've tried where it might only be one time I try it and it didn't work out, but that's fine. I gave it a shot, and this might be the only episode of this podcast. I sure hope not, because this is something that I've always wanted to do. But, that's the kind of thing with me. I'm a very passionate person. I get very excited about these kind of projects that I do with my writing, with the podcast like this. I just started doing gaming videos on my YouTube channel. So if you're into that kind of thing, I play games. I rage out at the games a little bit, but it's all for entertainment. You know what I mean? Check those out. They're a lot of fun. That's something else I've always wanted to do. Whether it's my writing, web series that I'm in that's coming out this fall, all these things that I'm really passionate about, I keep trying to expand my horizons. And this is another venture that I'm going into that I'm really excited about, guys. I'm really excited to be here. I'm really excited to be doing this. I might be the only person listening. I might be talking to myself right now, but that's not what this is about. This is not about trying to get a million ears to listen to this. I'm trying to get as much as I can because I have awesome guests that I think the world needs to know about. And I'd love for as many people to hear them as possible, but that's not why I'm doing this. I'm doing this because, again, I'm very, very passionate about things. I go on these creative junctures and, I just throw darts at the wall and see what sticks. And this is another dart. But there's a few things that I wanted to talk about on this first episode that's kind of been on my mind for a while. Nothing serious, but I kind of just thought. And I had these things that I want to talk about. First thing being Postmates. Now, if you don't know what Postmates are, I know Postmates is not available everywhere, but here in LA, I use Postmates quite often. If I'm at home working, editing a video or something like that, and I don't want to cook dinner, I use Postmates and have, food from any restaurant in the area delivered to me. All right. It's kind of like Uber. It's kind of like Lyft, but for food delivery. So it's just a regular person bringing me food. It could be Taco Bell. It could be McDonald's. It could be, Cheesecake Factory. It could be anything. And I use it quite often, more than I should, because it gets kind of expensive. But I use it. I'm lazy. When I'm busy, I need food. It's nice and easy for me. Here's the thing with Postmates that I think is very strange. It's hilarious too. You can kind of track their journey, to the restaurant, and then when they're heading out to your place, so when they're about to show up. And just the funniest thing is, I've never met this person in my life. They don't know where I live necessarily. They're just following the GPS, which it seems like people have such a hard time following GPS. Like literally, my house is pinpointed on the map with a dot, with like a pin. Like just literally walk to the pin, and I'm outside waiting for you. It shouldn't be that hard to find me. It really shouldn't be that hard. But anyways, I just can't shake the feeling every time I order Postmates, when I go outside to collect my food, that it's like some kind of shady drug deal going down. I walk outside, make eye contact with the Postmate. I don't know him. He doesn't know me. He just knows that someone ordered food in this vicinity. We lock eyes. And I say, "You got stuff?" And he pulls out of a little black bag. He unzips this black bag. Boom. Pulls out a paper McDonald's bag with the goods. He hands it to me. I don't say another word. I just nod. He takes off. I head inside and I stuff my face. But it is the weirdest transaction. It is the weirdest transfer of goods. And I just can't help but feel like the shame I feel sometimes from the things that I order. You know what I mean? Like I might order Taco Bell, but I might order so much Taco Bell that they give me the bigger paper bag, not just the regular paper bag. So I'm kind of like making sure nobody's walking down the street outside while I get my Postmates, because I don't want to see them hand me a giant bag of Taco Bell. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, let's keep this on the low. He could be delivering me a kilo, but it's just 4 quesadillas and 3 cheesy gordita crunches. But it just feels so shady to me. And I just think that's hilarious. He gives me the food, he takes off, and that's that. Never to see him again. It's the strangest deal. Like, who came up with this? Who came up with this idea? You know what I mean? Like, what? And I don't know too much about what it takes and what process you have to go through to become a Postmate. I actually know a few people who have done Postmates, who have been a driver for Postmates. But what kind of, background check do you need to go through? Because I don't know what you're doing with my food from restaurant to my house. You could be opening it and just sniffing away the entire ride. Just smelling the delicious quesarito the entire trip until you get to my house. You might even lick it once or twice, and I would never know. I would never know. I get to follow them on the GPS, so I get to see where they are. I get to see, when they're going to come to my house. But who knows what they're doing with my food? If sometimes I get a drink and they hand me a drink with a straw already inserted into the drink. No, sir. Please do not insert my straw into my drink for me. Okay? I am a grown man. I can insert my own straw. I don't know what you're doing with my straw. I don't know if you're taking sippies out of my drink before you give it to me. Not okay. So here's what I think. when I'm following on the app, I'm following the GPS from point A to point B to my house. I think they should be required to wear like a GoPro, right? They should be required to wear a GoPro that shows what they're doing at all times. So I'm not only following the GPS, I can see what this guy's looking at. I can make sure he's not running any red lights. But most importantly, I make sure he's not licking my quesarito. You know what I mean? Because that's not cool. Now, I don't think I've had any problems to this point, but I'm just saying the threat is out there. Okay, the threat is out there. And Postmates, if you're listening, get at me. Let's figure out this GoPro situation. I think I'm onto something here. I think I'm onto something because I'm tired of people putting straws in my drink. I have trust issues. I'm a grown man. Let me put my own straw in my own drink. I'm a grown man, dude. I'm a grown ass man. I wrote a song about it. There's going to be an ad playing after the segment about my album. It's called So Grown because I'm a grown ass man. First song is called Grown Ass Man. So don't put the straw in my drink. All right. Now I have to be honest. Sometimes I'm a giant baby. And, I don't have any shame in admitting this. Sometimes I'm a giant baby. Most of the time when I am a giant baby, it comes from two things. And I'll tell you what those two things are. Every night, just like all of you, before I fall asleep, I'm laying in bed, lights off with my cell phone right in my face, flipping through Facebook, looking at stupid videos, all that good stuff. No wonder I'm an insomniac and it takes me forever to fall asleep because I just have a bright light staring me in the face for an hour and a half until I can drift away. But here's what I'm doing on Facebook before I fall asleep. I'm flipping through videos, but there's two types of videos that I've always find myself watching and without fail bring me to tears. On numerous occasions, this is also what I do when I wake up. I first wake up and I don't want to move, so I start flipping through Facebook. And on numerous occasions, I kid you not, I'm not lying to you, numerous occasions I find myself at 9:30 in the morning after being awake for 20 minutes, just laying in my bed like a sloth, not moving, finding myself in legit tears or trying to, as fighting back an ugly cry as hard as I can. But there's tears rolling down my face from two types of videos. First are those videos of soldiers coming home and surprising their families. Amazing. I love those. Such a beautiful moment, and to see like the surprise and a child's face getting to see their mother or father for the first time in months because they're, overseas. It's amazing. It's so touching. It gets me every time. You want to make me cry even harder in this same situation? Make it a dog. The dog sees the soldier for the first time and is a little unsure at first. But yeah, you want to make me cry harder? A dog. Okay, this dog, it's a little unsure at first, but then it just catches that scent, that familiar scent of its owner, and just flips out. Just loses its mind. Boom. I am a mess. You got me. There's nothing better. Now, the second type of video, see, that one I really don't have a problem admitting because I think that touches all of us. Maybe that the dog over like a child gets me more. I don't know. Maybe that's a little embarrassing, but the second type of video that gets me in tears, no matter what, this one's a little embarrassing. Anytime someone gets a golden buzzer on America's Got Talent. Dude, I'm done. Are you kidding me? That beautiful moment of the slow motion confetti dropping and just the tears coming out of their faces and the shock, they got me. They reeled me in. Beautiful television. Now, I don't even watch the show. I don't even watch the show. I only watch these golden buzzer moments when they pop up on Facebook, and they still get me. Like this year, the singer who's deaf, but she still trained herself to sing. Oh my God. Amazing. Truly amazing. And then the second one that got me was the little girl who's the ventriloquist, but can sing while using the puppet. So she's singing without moving her lips, and she's like 9. What? How dare you be so talented? Of course that's a golden buzzer. Are you kidding me? And this all started, so this phenomenon for me started, God, it must have been 2 years ago, maybe. I didn't know the golden buzzer was a thing. I don't watch the show, but I watched it. It was like 2 years ago when Simon gave the golden buzzer to a beautiful young girl who had cancer, and she's a singer. And she was incredible. I wish I had her name. But if you know anything about it, you know what this is. And she's fantastic. Amazing. And she had beaten cancer, and she sang a song about it, and Simon gave her the golden buzzer. And I never knew that this TV show had such a beautiful moment. I figured it was like American Idol, which, no thanks. I only watched it when my buddy Stefano was on it. No thanks. The Voice, I do like that show. Me and my mom used to watch it. She still watches it. I don't really watch it, but because it was a new concept and I liked that, but I'm over it now. I don't have time. But I never watched America's Got Talent, and I saw this golden buzzer thing with her, and it was amazing, and it gets me every time. And then I saw one tonight on Facebook, and it wasn't a golden buzzer moment, but it was so incredible, so beautiful. 2 little children, like 8 and 9 years old, and they're dancers, and they did a routine to that Dirty Dancing song, Time of My Life, or Time of Our Lives, whatever. And it was incredible because they're like 9 years old, and they're just like killing it out there. Do you know what I was doing when I was 9 years old? I was sitting at home eating Doritos and playing Nintendo. All right? I could hardly tie my shoes at that point. And these kids out here killing the game on a national stage in front of Seal, who's as amazed as me. Seal. Not the animal. The singer. Okay? I'm pretty sure that Seal is hard to impress, okay? That guy's lived a pretty amazing life. And these kids just blew him away. So that wasn't a golden buzzer moment, but that I got a little verklempt watching them. I couldn't stop smiling. Had to admit that. Had to. That's my life, guys. That's my life. Sitting watching dog videos and golden buzzer moments. Getting teary-eyed. And I'm okay. I'm secure in it. I'm secure in my manhood to admit that to you. And if you don't get emotional at these moments, I think there's something wrong with you. I think there's something wrong with you. I mean, after all the trash that I shuffle through on Facebook for hours on end, I don't know why I spend so much time watching these videos, because most of them are garbage. But then you find those beautiful moments like a golden buzzer, and it's all worth it. It's all worth it, guys. We're all looking for our golden buzzer moment. You know what I mean? We all just want that golden buzzer in our lives. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. But yeah, I have an awesome first guest. I'm very excited. One of my best friends in the entire world, my man, Jess Weaver. He'll be on the show here in a bit, talking about, where he grew up and all that good stuff. He has the new season, the second season of his show, Magic Funhouse, is coming out today on Full Screen. So make sure you go to Full Screen, get your subscription, and watch the show. Watch the first season. Binge watch it if you haven't seen it. It's a hilarious show. If you love Tim and Eric, that kind of humor. It's very alternative comedy. You'll really enjoy it. Brandon Rogers, the YouTube star, he wrote and directed the show. It's his baby. And Jess is incredible in it. He'll talk about the show, how he got it and, what to expect with the show. So I'm really looking forward to that. I couldn't ask for a better first guest for this podcast. I'm really happy, he came to do it. I'm excited for you guys to hear that conversation. I'm actually, I'm in Seattle right now for this, which is amazing for me to be able to go home. I don't get to go home too often. I'm home for a family event. We do a golf tournament every year to honor my grandfather, who was a huge golfer. He loved it. So we do, the memorial tournament for him. So I'm excited to be home to do that. It's cool I'll be home and relaxed and kind of just enjoying life while this podcast is released. And I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys, take the time to listen to it. If you're driving to work or, you're on a lunch break and you just pop it in while you're doing whatever, or you're at the gym or anything like that. I would love for you guys to listen to it and give me some feedback, how you like it. That opening segment, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about randomness. I talked about Postmates and crying at dog videos today. Who knows what the future holds in that open segment. But, the interviews I got coming on, I got some awesome guests lined up for the future episodes of this that I can't wait to share with you guys. They're awesome people with awesome stories to tell. I'm a big fan of everybody that I have coming through. So, I'm really excited to talk to them, and I'm excited for you guys to hear it. Because that's the goal. I know when I was growing up, and even now, when I'm looking for inspiration, it's amazing to hear somebody's story who I can relate to, even if they're not exactly going in the same field as me. Hearing a doctor talk about something that inspires me is just as amazing as hearing an actor. So I just hope that, if there's anyone listening out there who wants to chase these big dreams, and it could be anything. It could be in entertainment, but it can also be, you want to be a nurse, you want to be a teacher, you want to change the world in any way, and you have these big dreams and you don't know how to do it, or you just don't think it's possible, or whatever thing, might be holding you back. I've been there. I think we've all been there. And that's kind of the goal of this podcast, is to have people tell their stories on, how they got where they're at, and even if it's not where they want to end up, like my example with Jess being my first guest, he's still got a long career ahead of him, and he's nowhere close to where he wants to be. And he's nowhere close to where I think he will end up. That dude is going to be a star, but he, just like I, at one time was sitting there like, how do I make this happen? I don't know. And I'm hoping that, if there's even just one person out there listening to this and you don't think you can do something because for whatever reason, hopefully somebody I talk to, somebody tells their story and they touch something in you that shows you that you can do whatever you want to do if you put your mind to it. Everything takes work. Even this podcast, if no one listens to it, just by doing it is something that I'm excited about. And it's another thing I cross off my list and another endeavor that I'm excited about. And it's hard work. I'm busy with a lot of things. I'm busy with the gaming videos. I'm busy with, doing this podcast. I still have a life, a personal life, a professional life of work. I'm still trying to do auditions, all that stuff. But I love what I do. Just sitting in my room right now talking to you, it's a dream come true to be able to do this. And I hope somebody listening, anybody, are inspired by one of these episodes. But that's really it for me. Before we get into this interview, I got Jess Weaver coming right up, so stay tuned. We'll get back to the regularly scheduled podcast stuff in a moment, but it's the end of August, people. And you know what that means? It is the 1-year anniversary of the release of my debut comedy rap album, So Grown. featuring the single Dope Ass Day, as well as other funny songs like Grown Ass Man, Worst Valentine's Day, and The Party. Now, help me celebrate 1 year of Dope Ass Days by heading to iTunes and downloading the So Grown EP. Or, if you like to stream your music, find it on Spotify and Apple Music, and make sure that every day is a dope ass day.
With my crew, peeking with my friends, damn, I'm having a dope ass day. Living it up, kicking with no end, damn, I'm having a dope ass day. Out with my crew, peeking with my friends, damn, I'm having a dope ass day. Living it up, kicking with no end, damn, I'm having a dope ass day.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the podcast. I'm sitting here with my first guest, the guest of honor, Jess Weaver. Welcome, Jess.
Hey.
How do you feel about being the first guest on the Oh You Didn't Know podcast with Tony Reavis?
I feel ecstatic. Not ecstatic. I think it's just ecstatic. No, it's ecstatic.
Well, regardless, happy that you're here. Happy that we're able to talk to you a little bit.
Yeah. It's good to be here.
Yeah, you got some good stuff dropping. You got new season of your show coming out today, in fact. Yeah. So we'll talk about that a little later, but we're going to start from the beginning. You know what I mean?
The beginning.
We want to, this is Oh You Didn't Know, and people want to know. People need to know. People are going to know. That's what this is about. So basically, Jess is a good friend of mine. We met together in theater school, and we'll get to all that good stuff. But it's good to have you on. Let's take it back. You were born in LA or the LA area. Is that correct?
Yeah, I was born in Los Angeles. I lived in Agora, Calabasas area for like the first 10 years of life, and then
you moved east
to Colorado.
Yeah,
East.
Yeah. Most times you're like, I'm heading west, but no, you headed east.
Headed up to the mountains. So I moved to Colorado. Big change from being in a city and with millions of people to going into a tiny little town of 1,000 people in old Colorado.
Yeah, that's Ridgeway, Colorado.
Yeah, Ridgeway, Colorado. Shout out Ridgeway.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Ridgeway.
Okay, easy there. Yeah, that's a quite a big move going from LA to a small town of 1,000 people. I had more than 1,000 people in my high school, and you had 1,000 people in your town. Mm-hmm. So how did that? So you spent most of your years. Well, I guess it was split, kind of even.
Yeah, I'd actually say, I spent more years living in LA for sure. Because I moved when I was 11. And so I spent about 7 years in Colorado.
Okay.
So, and spent they're
more your informative
years.
Formative. Yeah, exactly. Formative?
Is it informative or, no, I think it's formative.
Formative, that's what I meant.
Forming.
Yeah, exactly. Your more formative years were in Ridgeway.
The informative
is this podcast informing
yes,
you. Yeah.
This is the informative years where you're being informed that you have to pay your bills.
That makes more sense.
And you're learning about stuff.
But yeah, so you grew up, quote unquote, in Ridgeway.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that. How was that? I come from a suburb of Seattle, but still a big town. Mm-hmm. Again, I had probably 2,500 students alone in my high school. So you grew up in a town that had 1,000 people, in the town. How does that work? How does that?
I didn't really notice really the difference, because when you're that young, or at least for me, it didn't matter the size of where I was. It didn't matter if there were 23 kids in my school or hundreds of kids in my school. It just mattered if how the people were, how I was treated. Because when I was going into middle school, I think at that point, and going into middle school in LA was just as scary to me as going into middle school in a small town, because I didn't know anybody.
Yeah,
dude with super long hair.
Yeah, you had crazy
Looked like
hair.
a girl.
You had crazy hair.
Definitely looked like a girl. Past my shoulders. Going into middle school, anything could happen. Just easy target.
Yeah.
Fresh target. So, so I didn't notice a difference, and it wasn't really until I came back here, moved back out here, where I really started appreciating how different it actually was, because
Right.
There's in a small town like that, there's more of a community. You have less of a I feel like you're in a more truthful environment because
Everyone kind of knows everybody.
yeah, everyone knows everybody, and so if you have bullshit or just like are being ridiculous, everyone will know.
Right.
So everyone,
Right.
people call you out on it, and so there's no escaping that.
Right.
So you kind of just have to be who you are, really.
Right.
There's no like cliques sort of to fall into. I mean, you have your little own cliques form everywhere, but
Right.
in the small town.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, okay. So
I just rambled on.
No. Yeah, that's cool. So I agree. Talking about like once you finally leave, you kind of see how it is.
Yeah.
I grew up in Seattle, and my first year of college, I went to Las Vegas for college, and it was about a month and a half, maybe not even that long, just about a month, I guess, after I started college. My grandfather passed away, and I had to fly home to Seattle for the funeral.
Yeah.
And being gone just for that month was all I needed to like finally appreciate where I grew up.
Yeah.
And to see the beauty in my hometown, and to see the beauty in where I was raised. And so I totally understand that. it's like once you leave, that's when you can truly appreciate where you come from.
Yeah. And like I don't know how I didn't appreciate it before, but I live like Ridgeway is right at where you can see the Cimarron mountain range and the San Juan mountain range meet, and you got Mount Sneffels just hanging over your town, and it's like it's one of the most beautiful sights to just drive into when you're driving on the highway and you turn the bend, and all of a sudden just these huge just mountains are right in front of you, and it's like this incredible just presence that you feel. And yeah, I don't know how you can't recognize that. I mean, I guess as like an 11-year-old kid going there, that's not what you see.
Yeah.
And then, after living there for a while, you're used to it. And so, come back to LA where there's like the only nature you'll find is like,
it's concrete jungle.
Griffith Park and yeah, exactly. And so you immediately have this respect for where you come from, especially if you come from nature.
So what made the move happen for your family from LA to Ridgeway?
A lot of different factors. I think it was my grandparents and my dad and his brothers. They were starting. There was this real estate development thing they were starting over in Ridgeway, and my dad used to be a producer for Magnum PI, actually, and for the old Magnum PI.
Is there a new Magnum PI?
Yeah, I think they made a new one.
I don't know.
No.
The OG
Like
Tom Selleck.
I think I'm thinking of Hawaii 5-0.
That's what you're thinking of. Yeah, there's a new one.
So
of those.
anyway,
Yeah.
Magnum PI. Yeah, so I think he was like they were writing scripts, and just nothing was going on, and it was a good just idea just to have a better place for me and my brother to grow up. And
how do you think
it was just that was the move, and so we moved there. And
how do you think that not changed you, but like help you become who you are today? Being, instead of growing up in those years in Los Angeles, how do you think you're different, if you think you are or not? Do you think you'd be the same person if you never moved to Ridgeway?
I don't know, because like I used to say a lot that Ridgeway made me who I am. Like I always used to think that if I'd have stayed in LA, I'd have just probably gotten bullied a lot in middle school or whatever for having long hair, and just that may have turned me into something else. And so I always used to say that Ridgeway is what made me, I think I turned out all right.
Yeah.
So I think I used to be like, I told my mom that once, and then she brought up a good point, like, because she just kind of bummed out. She's like, well, what about us? And so, who knows? I could have been the same guy because of my parents are awesome people. They're magnificent parents, very loving family. It's weird to say. I don't think I've ever said that before.
Well, it's not.
I come from a very loving family.
You do,
but I do.
I love your family so much.
My family is the bomb.
Yeah, your family's awesome, and it's kind of cool. For those of you who don't know, Mr. Jess Weaver here, wonderful actor. We met in theater school. He's got an awesome show coming out, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But this business is kind of in your blood.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, this business is in your blood.
It's in the vein.
You said your dad was a producer on Magnum PI, and you got a very, very famous grandfather,
old Western Dennis Weaver.
Yeah, and
Greg.
How did that influence you in your career today? Like, how did you always know you were going to be an actor? Is this something you always wanted to do?
I was always kind of in a little seeker of attention, or just little just wanting to perform for people. And I was always good at like doing impersonations of cartoons and all that, and being dramatic or whatever. And I kind of had a wild imagination. So my parents, I think, and I always decided when I was a kid, like, you're gonna be in the movies when you grow up. Like, you're gonna be an actor. When you're an actor, Jess, like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm gonna go to Hollywood. And so it was almost like it was decided.
Yeah,
it was decided when I was
destined
young
for this. Future.
And like subconsciously, all the with my grandfather being around and my dad being a producer and whatnot, and always everyone's talking about like writing scripts and stuff. So subconsciously that must have seeped in somewhere. Yeah. I loved going to Universal Studios as a kid, and I loved that. Just love movies. And so I think that's how I ended up falling into it. It was just it became I guess subconsciously I knew that, how do I put this? Instinctually, it's what felt right, what feels right, what I should be doing, what I should be pursuing. And so, I there's been nothing else in my mind that I've wanted to really pursue.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Again, your grandfather, a legend. He's got a star out there on Hollywood Boulevard. We walk by all the time.
Right in front of the U.S. Bank.
Yeah, on Hollywood Boulevard, right outside. Which is awesome. Emmy Award winner. He's in Spielberg's first movie. Yep. Big, his big break Duel, and that stuff's all great. This business in your blood. Even your brother, he's in the industry. Yeah. As an editor. Yep. He's worked on Grey's Anatomy and a bunch of different stuff.
Working on 7 Seconds right now, which is on Netflix. Will be on Netflix.
Yeah.
Catch ABC stuff.
Yeah, so it's like this is,
it's in our blood.
It's been in your blood. But when did you really start acting? Because didn't you did some stuff when you were like young, like, in LA?
You do the plays and stuff. You do the high school, the elementary school plays. They make you do it. I never had a problem with it. I always loved doing it.
How did it grow when you were in Ridgeway? Because acting in LA as a kid, it's like, that makes a lot of sense. But what was there to do in Ridgeway?
We had a thing called a speech and debate team. Like a lot of, a lot of high schools had like a forensics team, speech and debate, whatever you call it. And we didn't have a theater program. Or by the time I was in high school, we didn't have a theater program, but we had speech and debate, which was kind of like you could take a piece of material, 10 minutes, and you interpret it. It's almost like you perform this piece by yourself using different characters, whatever, depending on how the story is. but you have different categories. Like you have duo. You and a friend can do something. You have humor solo, drama solo, and then poetry, and then those are all like the interpretation sides, and then you have debate. So there's always a mixture between like people that were super wanted the spotlight and just wanted to be performers and perform and be dramatic, and then there were your kids sitting in the corners with the computers, the cross-examination people, like always studying their points and stuff, playing Warcraft and walking around and just oversized suits and ties. Man, I could go on about speech. I have so many. So that's where speech and debate stories. Yes. Like that's where it all started. Speech and debate. So like that was your main outlet in high school? That was my outlet. Like occasionally they'd be like, we're actually going to do a play. And so I was like, okay. Like we had a drama class at one point. We did like Pride and Prejudice and, cheap, stupid comedies that you can get the rights to. Yeah. It'd probably cost $10. Right. Like, you want to perform my play? Here. Right. And $10. And for all the time that I've known you, we've created stuff together. When did that start? I know you to be a very ambitious person. You've, your eyes on a lot of different things. When did that have an impact to you in Ridgeway? Did you kind of create your own stuff back then? Did that not start until a little later? No, I never created my own acting stuff, video, like performance stuff. I was always too scared to. I'd never do that at that age. Man. I started playing guitar a bunch, and I started writing a lot of music, a lot of metal. I was super into metal, so I'd sit at home, and that I would create a lot of that. But it wasn't until I moved out here I was drifting far away from the microphone. Yeah, no, you're good. Yeah, it wasn't until I moved out here that I kind of wanted to create stuff and had ideas to create stuff. Gotcha. So we met at theater school. Take a step before that time. I know you had a few different things you were thinking about before you decided to move to LA to go to school. Mm-hmm. What was kind of your thought process there? Because I know, like me, I didn't start acting until I was already in college, and when I was graduating high school, I was a baseball player, and that's all I really knew. I didn't know what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. So how did you make the decision to go to school to train? Because again, with you being, you're the business in your blood, I'm sure, you got an opportunity for a million connections, but you kind of wanted to build your own path, do it your own way, right? Yeah. I don't have as many connections as you may think. Yeah. I had one really good connection, and that was a man named Lou Antonio, who moderates over at the Actors Studio. And so he would let me, like 16, 17 years old, I'd come out here. And he was really good friends with my grandfather. He directed Gentle Ben, which is another series my grandfather was on, but they're both really good friends. And so, 16, 17, coming out here to vacation, visit my brother and whatnot, he'd let me come and sit in on a session. I'd get to observe, Actors Studio people working. And I remember the first scene at the studio I ever saw was Streetcar Named Desire. These two people doing it. And I was like blown away just by how good they were. And then immediately inside of me, I was just like, oh God, like, how am I ever going to do that? I'm good at false confidence, but I've never been someone who's just been like, yeah, that's going to be me. Like the other day I was watching Andrew Garfield doing Angels in America, and they were like showing a live broadcast of it at the Regal in LA Live. Mm-hmm. He's killing it. Everyone's killing it. And they're doing it on the West End Theater in London. And I'm sitting in my chair going, oh my God, how would I ever do that? Like, that's insane. Like, but so that's kind of how it's kind of bad to think that way, right? But like, it's still inspiring nonetheless. So that inspired me. And I really didn't think I was going to go to school. Actually, I'd planned, I'm just like, I'm going to rough it and go to Hollywood and try to make it. Yeah. And then after, some moments of silence. I was like, that's stupid. I should go to school somewhere, get some sort of a foundation. I really don't know how to act. I never had been properly trained. Like school didn't do that.
Yeah.
And so I applied to only 4 places: UCLA, Loyola Marymount, University of Oregon.
Boo.
And the Ducks.
Yeah, boo.
And AMDA.
Yeah.
I don't even know how I found out about AMDA. I forget how I found out about AMDA.
Yeah.
I think they sent me a letter once. I was like, oh, this looks pretty cool. But anyway, I applied to the 4 places, auditioned for UCLA and Loyola Marymount, and just didn't get into those places. But I got into Oregon and AMDA. And so I didn't want to go to Oregon because that's not where the business is.
Because University of Oregon sucks.
It would have been great.
It's a good place. That's I'm from Seattle. I'm from Seattle. Sports,
guy.
yeah.
He's a sports guy.
Yeah, we hate him. Yeah, you end up, and that's where we met.
And that's where we met, man.
And the rest was history.
In that class, just in circles, going Manhalavavaza, Paul Perry, and
yeah,
laughing at.
Shout out to Paul Perry.
The goofy hijinks that some of the other students would get into, and then, yeah.
Right, and so the first time when we really became buds, we had class together. We were in the same group, and then it was our second semester there, and we had an improv teacher, and I saw her in a show, and she asked me if I was doing any of the shows on campus, and I was like, no, I don't really like the shows this semester or whatever. And she was like, well, why don't you make your own? And I was like, oh my God, I never even thought of that. That'd be amazing. And I wanted to do a sketch comedy show, and I was like, I can't do this by myself. I'm not that funny. I mean, I'm kind of funny, but I need a partner in crime.
So we formed
a super team. And we created a sketch comedy show, which is still legend at our school, I think.
No.
Oh, I think so.
I don't think so.
I think so. I remember when we went to New York, and then we came back to LA, and I had Barrow, and he, I was like, oh man, is he gonna even remember me? I haven't had him for a year and a half. And first day of class, first thing, because I had him again when we came back, first thing after class, he came up to me and said, hey, are you guys gonna write another sketch comedy show? And I was like, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
Life made.
Yeah. And he's like, because that's the best show I've ever seen at AMDA. He said that. He said that to me. And this is world-renowned actor, Anthony Mark Barrow. So I think, we did an amazing job. But that brings me to a question that I want to ask you, which kind of will tie into Magic Funhouse here in a few minutes, is your sense of humor. We have a very similar sense of humor. That's kind of why we clicked and we wrote that sketch show together. Just kind of like where that comes from. Because if, I know that you're a different person. You're a very different person. But knowing your grandfather's career, very more serious stuff, Gunsmoke, McLeod, that kind of thing. And if people know Magic Funhouse, very different. But what a lot of people don't know, because this is kind of your first big gig, professional gig, thing like that.
Totally.
But you got a lot of other, you got a lot of chutzpah. You got a lot of deep stuff that the world has yet to see from you. But how you got your sense of humor?
Oh, geez. How does one get a sense of humor?
Because I think this is personally, I could be wrong, but just seeing us, like our sense of humors are very different than I think.
Yeah. No, I know.
Like we're into kind of goofy stuff. We're into, different things, and just where that kind of came from.
I guess, I guess I didn't really learn what I thought was funny until I watched Tim and Eric. Awesome show. Great job. I just remember watching that for the first time. I think I was like, what the heck is this? And then I just watch it continually, and I'm like, I've never laughed so hard. Like this is what's funny to me. Just all this sort of, it was like a new comedy. Like I'd seen, like, your average your average movie, like comedy movie, big blockbuster comedy, whatever. So that's, you know, you can fall into, everyone can kind of have the same sort of sense of humor. And then once I see this stuff, once I'm watching like Adult Swim and it was pretty much Adult Swim. Once I turned to Adult Swim, I was like, these shows are just so ridiculous, and I never knew that this could be funny. And I think that's what, for the rest of my high school years, all I would do was pretty much just spaghetti. That was the funniest thing to me. Yeah. So if that I think that helped develop the sense of humor, and just, I don't know.
It's kind of funny how that kind of became full circle.
Yeah.
On now you're on the Magic Funhouse, which is that very unique style of comedy. That kind of outrageous,
definitely alternative comedy. Like I wouldn't even really. I mean, I would. I don't know what I'm talking about right now. I'm trying to. Yeah, because Brandon's comedy is totally over the top, just fast paced.
Yeah, and this is Brandon Rogers, creator of Magic Funhouse, YouTube personality that you're talking about with this show. Yeah, he's very, very over the top.
Yeah, really, I hadn't seen anything like that until there is to that extent until I watched his videos, and so I think it's definitely very effective. You know, depending on who you are, whether you like that kind of style or not.
Yeah, it's very unique. It's very interesting. It's its own thing, and that's what you need to kind of be successful these days.
Exactly. Yeah.
And before we get into that, just one more thing I got to ask you. If anyone follows you on Instagram, what's your Instagram? At Jess.
It's at Jess.Weaver 1221.
Right. So follow him on Instagram. But if you follow him on Instagram, you'll see these awesome unicycle videos.
Yes.
Now, I've known you for a while, and you're an amazing unicycler. You're getting better every day.
Yeah.
Just gotta get a little water.
Pouring some water.
Yeah. So, everyone knows, you're the actor, you play guitar and stuff like that. The unicycle thing comes out of left field for me, because I know you weren't like an athlete, like you didn't do like team sports or anything like that. You're very outdoorsy, you're very fit, you're very, into that kind of thing. But how'd the unicycle thing start? 'Cause that's such a unique, like not everyone just like picks up a unicycle.
A friend of mine, I was over at a friend's house, my friend Lauren, and her older brother and his friend were had this little yellow unicycle, and they were riding it, and I was like, that's like, I'd seen unicycles before, but I never even thought to try and ride one. So I tried getting on one, and it just was impossible. And I was like, this is impossible. How can you do this? But I'm obviously seeing these guys ride it in front of me, so it's something that could be achieved. So they let me borrow it, and I just took it to the driveway of the old Earth ship, and which is the house that my grandparents built, to the driveway, and I would hang on for dear life as I tried to get on that little yellow unicycle. Little yellow unicycle. Yeah. And try and get across the driveway. And sometimes I would let go and immediately fall off. Sometimes I would pedal a tiny bit and fall off. But then I'd start to be able to pedal a little more each time, and a little more, and then not any at all. And then so after, I'd say 2 solid weeks of just going out every day and practicing for about an hour, I was able to make it across the driveway. And then I was making it past the driveway and started going in the grass and then downhill. And it was, and then so I kept on doing it. You get better and better and better until eventually now I've been doing it, when I was 11, I'm 23 now, so I've been riding.
Now you're doing
12 years.
flips.
Now I'm
not
getting into
flips, but
flatland.
You're spinning the unicycle midair and
that's
going all terrain and off jumps. And
totally. That's an interesting story as well, because I done a lot of off terrain stuff in Colorado. Once me and a couple friends got good, we all had these mountain unicycles that we take on trails and dirt and hop on logs and stuff and rocks and just your average Colorado nature stuff.
Yeah.
And so I came out here, and I kind of did it on and off. There was a period of time where I didn't unicycle for a long time, and then I came back out here, brought my unicycle, and started doing it again. And then this one day, I started getting into flatland. It was actually not too long ago at all that I was starting to get into flatland, and I wanted to learn some more tricks. And it was at that point that I didn't have a job as well. And so one morning I was looking online. I went to unicycle.com, and I was like, asked the chat guy, hey, how can I get a job like in the unicycle industry? And he's like, I don't know, man. I'm like, oh, thanks.
You gotta ask Jeeves, man.
And so later that day, after my failed search, I go to unicycle in the park, and I'm trying this trick called a 180 unispin, where you hop off the unicycle, spin the unicycle 180, and land back on it. It's almost like a kickflip, but I'm terrible at it. I can't do it. And so I'm walking home, and this van is coming towards me and is like pulling up next to me, and I think I'm gonna get kidnapped. Yeah. And then I see on the side of the van, it says unicycleclasses.com, and I see in the back of the car that there are a bunch of unicycles, and I'm still thinking I still could get kidnapped. And so, but out hops this girl, Sophia, and she's like, I have a pretty good trials unicycle. And so just by looking at that, she knows I unicycle.
You're legit.
And I'm legit.
Yeah.
Right. And so, and obviously she's legit because she's got a trunk full, van full of unicycles. Yeah. And then she's like, who are you? And I'm like, well, who are you? And so, and she, we just got to talking. She's like, can you sub a class for me in like a month? And so I was like, it was like one of those stars align moments where that morning I was looking for a job unicycling, and then later that day,
one fell into your lap.
One fell onto my lap. And I was blown away just by a lot of things. It was a weird universe kind of moment. It was so oddly coincidental. I don't know. Some people believe like everything's just like coincidence, but I don't know. For some reason that just set in stone I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Belief that the universe is crazy, man.
Yeah.
No, and she's a world champion. She's a world champion flatland unicyclist.
That is crazy. Like, I can't even, what does that mean? Like, how?
It means...
What is she doing? Is she doing like handstands on the unicycle? Or what kind of crazy stuff can she do?
Like these just very graceful just tricks. I can't really explain it. It's just like
if you check out Jess's Instagram, he's got a lot of videos of him doing new stuff, flatland stuff, riding trails.
Yeah, but I'm nowhere near like the caliber of these people, man, that compete and that win. I think the trick that got it for her was like you can see it online. It's like a one-footed scuff coast. It's where you are standing on the frame of the unicycle, not even on the pedals. You're on the frame with one foot, and you like kick the wheel out, so you're coasting, and you've got one foot on it, and you're holding it.
That's insane. Yeah.
So she's kind of just been my coach recently, and I've been learning like tons of new tricks and getting
Yeah, he's getting pretty good. So make sure you check him out. And you see all his unicycle tricks.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive.
So I don't know how good impressive. I want to get, but I don't want to stop, man.
There you go. I don't
want to stop.
So let's get to the meat and potatoes here. Why we're all here today.
Oh, man.
You don't like meat and potatoes? Okay. Today, season 2 of Magic Funhouse is episode 1 released on full screen. So make sure you check that out.
Do it.
You play a character named Dave. So tell us a little bit about the show overall, what Magic Funhouse is. Season 1 is currently available on full screen, so make sure you check that out, catch up, because season 2 is coming out.
Watch
coming out today, please. So make sure you check it out. But for all those who don't know, give us a little information about Magic Funhouse.
Magic Funhouse, pretty just like this twisted comedy about it's like this film crew or this kids TV show crew and the network that hosts the kids show, TV30. And yeah, so TV30 is this network. Magic Funhouse is a show on the network, and so everyone's kind of messed up. The guy Brandon Rogers is the host, the Pee Wee Herman guy. We got T.J. Smith and Elise Christian. I hope it's Chris. It's Christensen or Christian. I'm sorry, Elise. Playing like the other 2 actors, Sasha and Officer McSafety. And then you got the film people. You got Manjusha, the little mushroom guy. There's a woman, and then Jimmy, the pedophile.
It's pretty wild.
Guy, and then Mr. Cronus, who's like the network head, who's like just absolutely nutty professor.
Right. And then you play Dave.
I played Dave,
intern.
PA. Well. Yeah, that's a intern joke in one of the episodes. But yeah, I'm a PA. I think I'm a PA coming in for my first day. Mm-hmm. And so kind of I meet these people. And that's what sets everything off is I show up to TV30 and that sets the course for the rest of the show. Right. Pretty much is they do a little dealing with these people.
Yeah, they do the little Tarantino trick where you start with the kind of the end you see, and then it goes back and you see how that all unfolds.
Yeah, I'm a disheveled Dave walking up to the old like boarded up TV30 studio, and then it pretty much then starts the story and how the whole season's about just how we got there, how we got so bad.
Yeah, it's a bad crazy show. It's so funny, so hilarious, very like Tim and Eric kind of humor. If you're into that, you'll love it. Definitely check it out. It's hilarious. How did that kind of fall into place for you? How did you kind of land this? Because this is your first, professional gig out of school. How'd that
I just auditioned for it, and I, got it.
Yeah,
the stars aligned.
Yeah,
I don't know. It was at a time where I was working really hard on a bunch of things, and it was
because you graduated from school. We went to school together. You graduated from school. Yeah. You've been doing all kinds of stuff. You're at the Actors Studio. Yeah. Just kind of working finalist at the Actors Studio. So you're getting good training there, and then this is something that's completely different from that. Like world renowned Actors Studio. You're getting that awesome training, and this is something that's like so different. You can kind of see both sides of two different sides of what you can bring to the entertainment world. You get that amazing training, and you can do that kind of acting, those plays. Like you can bring a powerful performance, and you're also into something that's ridiculous comedy that you play fantastically. You fit really well into the show. The cast is everyone in the cast is amazing. That's the great thing about the show is Brandon Rogers is creator, writer, director, yeah, and he's a YouTube personality. He's got a big following, but the show's not all about him. He's not, he's the star of the show, but you all shine so brightly in the show, which is what I really love about it. Every episode kind of has good moments. Every episode really especially in season 1 is just
each character pretty much has their own episode. Like mine's the first one, Brand's the second one. Then you got Cliff and Manjusha and Sasha and Cronus and Jimmy. So it's all seven episodes. We kind of narrate each of our episodes. So.
Right. And now for season 2, if you have seen season 1, we're not going to spoil it too much. We want you to be able to go check it out full screen. But you kind of leave a cliffhanger at the end of the first season.
Yeah.
Something big kind of happens. What can we expect in season 2 without giving away too much? But what kind of where does the future of Magic Funhouse go leading into season 2?
Man, the future of Magic Funhouse is, it's kind of on leading into season 2 is uncertain because, you just had this court case. And if I'm spoiling, I ain't spoiling. If you're listening to this, haven't watched the season, you've had plenty of time to watch it. So shame on you.
But there's a big thing that happens at the end of season 1 that kind of leaves things uncertain for the future of the show.
Right.
So what kind of? Let's see. Let's put it this way.
I want to answer, but I don't know how to answer without
we don't want to give anything away.
What happens?
But let's put it this way. Every episode, season 1 is kind of about each different character.
Right. So that's
everyone's back for season 2.
Yeah, everyone's back. We've got some new additions to season 2 that were pretty excellent. Some new characters that are fantastic and fit in the universe very well. And we have. One of the characters, 2 of the characters from the previous season, Jennifer Schmenke, who played the laughter therapy woman, she comes back as a different character, and same with the doctor in the last episode of season 1, he comes back as another character. So that's kind of cool. We got But we can. I liked how he did that.
Yeah, but we can expect a lot of the same kind of comedy, same kind of thing.
Totally, it's definitely a little more definitely more outrageous. We outdo season 1.
That's hard to believe. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what kind of stuff that.
God, there's some poop.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
There was no poop in season 1. There was some pee.
There was no poop.
There was some pee though, but we won't spoil it. But there
was a little pee. In my face.
Hey, whoa, we won't spoil it. Go check it out. But yeah. Okay, awesome. We don't want to spoil
all I can say is it's not like a character. Each episode doesn't focus on a character.
It's a more overarching story.
Yeah, more overarching. Yes, I'd say it's more of an arc of the show itself. Like the Magic Funhouse, the show itself is maybe like a character, and it's the arc of that. And then we all have our arcs within it, of course.
Right. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Season 2 out today for episode 1 on full screen. So yeah, make sure you go check it out. Jess, let's talk. Before we get out of here, kind of what do you think the future holds for you now that season 2 is in the books and it's coming out? Hopefully there's more Magic Funhouse coming, but you're doing a lot of different things. You have a lot of different interests. Where do you want to see Jess Weaver end up?
I don't know, man. I really don't know. I'm kind of I don't know, because I just want to be I have my goals, like that I want to become an official member at the studio, because I really love that place. It's a place to just work and get better, and it's like a family. It's a church almost of just creative people, and so I think that's what I'm really working towards now, and becoming a better actor, definitely, and as far as projects, I really have no idea. I don't know what next will come up, just because of auditions and whatnot, and the whole actor thing, and
the day-to-day that we live.
Yeah, so I'm just I'm trying to get rid of my expectations of like success. Is a friend of mine told me you can't really control your successes, because that's dependent on other people.
Right.
And they're, so subjective, but you can't choose what your achievements, things you achieve. So I think, becoming a better unicyclist and learning more tricks, becoming a better actor and finding out more things and being able to reach new levels of artistry. And I don't know. I definitely want to create some stuff more in the future. I don't know when that'll happen, just because I always say that, like, I'm going to create something, and then, I never get to it. But that'll happen eventually. So, yeah, I'm just kind of really going with the flow at this point, man.
Right on.
Going with the flow.
And kind of just the last thing, if you could talk to any of the listeners out there who might be younger, might be wanting to pursue their big dreams, whether it be acting, whether it be professional sports, whether it be drawing or being a doctor, just someone who's chasing a dream. As someone who's chasing a dream and is on their way to, trying to achieve their dreams and, on a good trajectory, what kind of advice would you have for someone?
Just say go for it. Don't look back. Don't doubt yourself. If you know instinctually that there's something you love, that you want to do it, like don't ignore that. Don't push that down. Don't push it aside. Like, chase that. You'll be happier. It may be harder, maybe scarier, but you definitely just got to chase that. Because there are days where I'm like, what am I doing here? Like, the world of the entertainment industry seems so big, and I'm just kind of a small fish. How am I going to find my way? But then I think what else I would be doing, and I'd always be thinking to myself, like, I should have pursued it my whole life. And so that's kind of what I have to say. Just don't ignore it. Try it, and try your damn hardest. And don't take anything for granted. So
that's great.
Be that friends or family or, like, training, and just, little moments day to day. Don't lose sight of that stuff.
Right on.
So
awesome. Well, Jess, it's been awesome having you as my first guest.
Heck yeah, man. Of course.
One of my best friends. Glad to have you on.
Absolutely.
Magic Funhouse season 2. Out today. Episode 1, I believe, out today on Fullscreen. The Fullscreen app.
Yep, Fullscreen app, Fullscreen website.
So check that out.
Please check it out.
Magic Funhouse. Season 1's already on there. Season 2, first episode out today.
Heck yeah.
Big release. We're excited. Follow my good friend Jess on social media. He's really on Instagram.
Yeah, I'm on Facebook, but I don't like Facebook.
Yeah, no,
Facebook's tacky now with all the advertisements and stuff. But that's a different conversation.
All right, that's for another.
That's always for a different time.
Let's follow him on Instagram at Jess.Weaver.
Yeah.
1221.
Yes. Numbers are of no significance.
Follow him for Magic Funhouse news, for unicycle videos, just to follow his career. He was on my YouTube channel. We did a gaming video that came out yesterday.
Yep.
Watch that. He played Binding of Isaac. Hopefully he'll be back on that channel as well. And we'd love to have you back on the podcast.
Heck yeah, man.
All right. Well, it's been awesome having you. And check him out. Magic Funhouse. Out now.
Oh, you didn't know?
Another big thank you to Jess Weaver for coming through, being my first guest, and chatting with me today. Make sure you guys check out Magic Funhouse on Fullscreen, out today. Now, before we get to my awesome conversation with moms, you know what else is awesome? Video games. Now, I love video games, but sometimes they get me a little angry, a little blood red mad, gonna be honest. And you can witness this all on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/iamTonyReavis. Watch me tackle tough games like Mega Man, Crash Bandicoot, and so much more, all while trying to keep my blood pressure from going through the roof. I scream, you laugh, it's a good time. So check out my channel and subscribe today.
Hello?
Ma! You been ducking my calls today or what?
No, I had things to do.
Well, I've called you like 4 times today.
Yeah, well, I've had earphones on my head for like 6 hours straight. I didn't even hear the phone. And you could have left a message, and I would have seen it blinking.
Yeah, whatever. I had to text Ricky to tell him. I was like, I didn't know.
Yeah, that's how I knew.
Yeah.
He came up to me and, showed me.
I just think you don't want to talk to your son. I think that's what it is.
Well, it's getting that way real fast.
Okay. I got a funny question that I want to ask you. And
Okay. I deserve the right not to answer it.
That's fine. But I kind of want to know the answer, too, because I was like, oh, that's a good question.
I'm not sure I shouldn't be getting these like a day before or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, maybe. No, it's more fun this way. But this doesn't necessarily just pertain to you. But, we have a crazy family, so just keep that in mind for this question.
Oh,
but the question was, someone wanted to know how many times that you've had the cops called on you.
I haven't had the cops called on me. There's been people at my home who have had the cops. The cops came because of them.
Right. So,
and you guys growing up, I had the cops in my yard a few times.
Well, because I don't want to get into that. I want to focus more on why. There's been times, I don't know, we've had parties and stuff.
My motto has always been, if there's a party at my house and the cops don't come, it wasn't a party.
Right.
It's a party if the cops come. And it's usually about 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, it's mellowing out around here.
Yeah.
But family reunions, I've had some of those here, and I don't know. They would have to be individual little stories because there's been many times.
Well, what's the best one?
Well, what was the question again?
How many times you got the cops called on you?
Oh, my God. I've lived here for 32 years. Well, gosh, probably I'd say twice a year for about 28 years. And then now it's been kind of sparse. It's only been when, about a month ago. So last time. But that's not my fault.
Right.
That's like the people having parties here.
Yeah.
I'm an innocent bystander for the most part. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
See, it was never because of me. I never threw a party.
Yeah, but did you kung fu out in the road in the middle of the night?
Oh, yeah. We would. Oh, yeah.
Cops is in the road. And the cops came to my house for those reasons,
The best one, there wasn't cops involved, but it was when we put the dummy out in the road and people thought there was a dead body out there.
Yeah, you're lucky that the cops didn't come that night.
Yeah, that was the best night. Except someone got out of their car like super concerned because they're a nice human being, thought there was a dead body on the road, saw that it was a fake body with a Mickey Mouse head and tore it apart.
That's right. But it did look like a real body until because I had that mask on it, that Friday the 13th Jason mask.
Right. So
because I didn't have a head, so I found a stuffed animal. It happened to be Mickey Mouse. Right. And I put that Jason mask over it, and it sat there on my porch for Halloween.
Right.
And then you guys took it out to the road.
We put it by the road.
So
it looked like it was a full-size body with a shrunken Mickey Mouse head.
Well, once you pulled the mask off.
Right.
Yeah.
It made it better. It made it so much better.
Yeah. Yeah. You freaked those people out pretty bad.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. I mean,
so that's it. The only question you had for me?
Well, I mean,
how many times has the cops come to the house?
Well, I mean, now that...
Did we figure it was about 60 times?
Yeah, that probably makes sense. But now I have another question that just
somewhere in there.
Yeah, now I have another question that just kind of stemmed off that is because we'd always get into trouble. Do you ever wish that you had a daughter? Like how sad?
Lately.
How sad? How sad were you when I was born, being the third born?
I
and
was
I was a boy.
I was not sad.
I don't believe it.
Ricky was madder than a Mad Hatter, though.
Yeah.
He was mad because he and Timmy both went to the ultrasound where they told us that you were a boy. And Ricky wouldn't get out of the van. He sat there. Meow. So it's Ricky that has the problem there, not me.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why I don't have any girls. I occasionally am sad, but for the most part, I think it's the way it's supposed to be. So
Wish I was never born, huh?
it's just a man's world around here, huh?
You wish I was never born, huh?
You know, in a boys' club. My wife, I lived in a boys' club.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could have daughters-in-law, hopefully soon.
Yeah, bring them on. I just wish I could pick them out.
Yeah. Well, what if I go on a dating show? How'd you feel about that?
Oh, wow. Well, if you want a dating show where I picked them out.
Well, no. Yeah. You don't get to pick it out. No. But like, what if I went on a dating show and that's how I found my wife? How would you feel? Yeah,
but those shows are so fake and phony.
Well, what if?
Well, I would just watch it and laugh.
I'm thinking about it.
Are you serious?
Yeah, maybe. You never know. I live in Hollywood.
Yeah, go for it.
Who knows what could happen?
Get some FaceTime.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
So you just been working today, huh?
Well, yeah. Today I had some things to do, and then I started working on slideshows, and they always make me very melancholy.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I've been,
for the golf tournament, for the family event.
For that, and the job that I'm doing for this choir, because they're going to sing their songs, and then up behind them is going to be a big screen, and it's going to be assorted pictures. Mm-hmm. And I have to decide, gosh, they can't be too take away from what they're doing, but
right.
But they got to be interesting enough to be there. So I've been working on that all day. But the songs, because I listen to them in my headphones, and some of them got me a little bit beklempt.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're, very spiritual.
Yeah.
And, yeah. So, anyway, I hope I can do a good job there. I might have to enlist you, since you know a lot of the Adobe programs a lot better than me already, and I've only been using them for 20 years.
Yeah.
You might be able to help me.
I'm a quick one. Yeah.
Get some of that video.
That's what you got to use YouTube. That's what I've been doing today too, because I've been getting this podcast together, and I'm doing it where, I put the podcast on YouTube, and there's I have a template, a picture that I created on Photoshop with a logo and stuff, but then I have the sound waves that bounce up and down throughout the podcast, and I just learned how to do that on YouTube. It's magic.
Okay. Well, I have found some things on YouTube. I found a karaoke song I really wanted, but I don't know how to save it because it's Rhythm of the Rain by Dan Fogelberg, because he does it really awesome, kind of a jazzy way, where the original song was I can't remember their names, but it's bleh, and I went, oh, this is perfect. And then I went, oh, I have no clue. I have no clue how to steal that song on the internet. So.
Yeah.
Is there a way that I can do that?
Yeah, maybe. I'm not going to incriminate myself.
Yeah, because this is YouTube,
yeah.
But it's a karaoke song.
Yeah.
I'm
sure there's a way.
Really well. It's done really well.
Where's Dad? Where's Dad at?
He is sleeping.
Is he going to work tonight?
Yes.
Okay.
And he will be getting up shortly.
Well, right on.
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to call and say what's up and, talk about the cops.
Yeah, I really will have to sit and think about that, because I know our pictures were up in the post office.
When was this?
When everybody was growing up. I just know they knew. They all knew how to get to my house.
Yeah. Well, I want to hear one of these crazy stories one day.
You're a bunch of hoodlums.
Yeah, you gotta. Yeah, I want to hear. You got to remember the craziest story, and I want to hear it in the future. So think about it.
Okay.
And we'll bring it up.
Okay, kid.
Alrighty. Well, I'll let you
Take it
get back to work.
easy. Yeah.
I got to get back to work too. Got a lot going on.
Okay.
Alrighty. It was always a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah. Love you. Mean
Love
it.
you too. Love you. Mean it.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, guys, that was a little taste of what a conversation with my mom is like. You can tell she's a crazy person, but I love her to death, and I'm really looking forward to having her on the podcast each and every week to end the show. But yeah, that's going to be it for us today on the first episode of Oh, You Didn't Know with Tony Reavis. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks again to my guest, Jess Weaver, for coming through on the podcast. I always love talking to my good buddy. Make sure you guys follow him and check out Magic Funhouse Season 2 out today on full screen. Make sure you check that out. Also, follow me on Twitter and Instagram at iamTonyReavis and send some questions my way. When I talk to my mom, sometimes I need stuff to talk about. Send me some questions. What do you want to know? What do you want me and my mom to talk about? She's a great person to get advice from, so send it my way and I'll ask her. It'll be a good time. But thank you for tuning in. Make sure you stay locked to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/iamTonyReavis for the future of the podcast. I got gaming videos on there that are a lot of fun. I got music videos for Dope Ass Day. Check that out. But stay tuned. Head over to the YouTube channel, subscribe so you're always in the loop, and we'll see you down the road. I was going to have The Rock on for episode 2, but he's a busy guy, so we're going to have to push him back. But I promise I'm going to have an awesome guest next week for episode 2 of the Oh, You Didn't Know podcast. So stay tuned, check it out, and we'll see you down the road. All right, it's been a pleasure. I can't wait. Until next time. And if you don't know, now you know. I am Tony Reavis. I'm out.